Yin and Jungkook entered their house. Once inside, Jungkook pressed Yin's body against the wall, surprising her with his actions. Especially now, Jungkook was staring at her with a sharp gaze. They were in very close proximity. She could feel Jungkook's breath brushing against her face, his cologne still lingering despite being sprayed on his body all day. Her husband was still wearing his complete work suit, although his tie was now loosened and the top buttons of his shirt were undone, indicating that he had just returned from the office. "What's wrong? Let me go." Yin tried to free herself, but Jungkook held her shoulder tighter. "Are you seeking revenge on me? What? I don't understand what you mean. You want revenge for what happened today, right? Now you're doing it with Bam Bam." Yin finally understood his words. She immediately pushed his hand away and looked at him angrily. "Are you implying that I'm cheating on you like you did today? Is that what you mean? I'm not that low to do the same thing, especially with my own friend. Bam Bam and I did meet earlier, but we weren't alone. Mina was also there. If you don't believe me, I don't care. Just deal with your woman." As Yin was about to leave, her hand was again firmly held by him. "Can't you respect me even a little, huh?" Yin rolled her eyes lazily. This question again. It never ends talking to her husband. Yin was truly fed up now. "I've told you everything. Besides, you never respected me as your wife, so why should I respect you? Don't expect too much." Hearing his wife's response only increased his frustration. He pulled her waist and kissed her lips roughly. Yin widened her eyes at his action. She tried to break free from the kiss, but Jungkook pressed his neck and waist, making Yin unable to resist his strength. By now, Yin felt like her breath was running out. Jungkook, knowing this, released the kiss. They looked at each other with heavy breaths. This was the first time they kissed after being married for a long time. She really didn't expect Jungkook to do this to her. She lowered her head to hide the redness on her face. His hands were still embracing her body to keep her in her current position. "You always say that I never considered you as my wife. Okay, fine. Tonight, I will truly make you my wife, so those words will never come out of your mouth again." "Huh? What do you mean?" Jungkook remained silent, leaving Yin curious. Finally, she lifted her face to find Jungkook gazing at her intensely. "Let me go. I don't want this." "What do you want then? What do you desire?" I just don't want this." Jungkook sighed softly, but he still didn't release his grip. Slowly, he leaned in again, but Yin immediately turned her face away, avoiding her husband's kiss. "This afternoon was just a misunderstanding. That woman suddenly entered my office. I don't know how she got her access card. Turns out, she stole Siwon's when he left, but she hadn't done anything yet." "Really? Then why did you change your shirt earlier?" "Because her hands had touched my shirt and I was disgusted by her touch." Yin was stunned to hear his response. She actually wanted to laugh but felt too embarrassed to express herself in front of him. Eventually, she tried to control herself and remain calm. "I don't care, besides, it's not my concern." Yin began to move to free herself from her husband's embrace, but suddenly Jungkook lifted her up and carried her into their bedroom. As they reached the bedroom, Jungkook gently laid his wife's body down on their bed. Before Yin could resist again, Jungkook pinned her movements with his body. "Can't you stop resisting? I don't want to do this. I'm still not ready." "Not ready? We've been married for a month now. How much longer do we have to wait?" Jungkook leaned closer, his lips nearing her ear. "You're not unready, but you're too proud to accept me as your husband, aren't you?" Yin widened her eyes. She remained silent, yet Jungkook's words once again left her stunned. "I don't want to hear again that you accuse me of not considering you my wife. As I said earlier, tonight, you'll truly be my wife. Now I am your husband, no longer your rival, let alone your enemy. So I beg you, treat me as your husband from now on. I want us to rekindle our relationship from the beginning. I also promise to treat you as my wife from now on." Her face blushed even more. Was this the Jungkook she had known all this time? She was truly enchanted by her husband's gentle demeanor. Honestly, she wanted her husband to always be like this. "Yin, answer me. Do you want to start over with me? Aren't you tired of always seeing me as your rival?" Finally, Yin chuckled softly. "Alright." It seemed like Jungkook had truly lowered his ego in front of her, so she would do the same. It seemed like they didn't need to compete anymore. Now they were husband and wife, partners in their lives. Finally, Yin raised both her hands to wrap them around his neck. She smiled sweetly at her husband, a genuine smile from her heart. She pulled his neck closer until their lips touched again. Yin kissed him softly with full of love for a few moments. "Alright, let's rekindle our happy marital relationship together. And tonight, make me your true wife." Jungkook smiled faintly, hearing his wife's whisper. Then he kissed her forehead for quite a while. Alright, in that case, I don't want you to hold back your voice anymore. Let it all out, because I want to hear it. And tonight, I will take you soaring through the sky, enjoying the paradise of this world. After saying that, Jungkook immediately showered her with kisses. Finally, that night truly became a long night for the two of them. There was no more embarrassment or shame between them, no more walls separating them. Now they merged in the slowly growing love. Since a week after that night, their relationship has been visibly heading towards improvement. The frequent arguments between them have ceased, and the sharp-toned words they used to exchange have been replaced with gentle tones. Moreover, Jungkook himself has undergone a change. He has come to realize that he has become addicted to his wife's body ever since that moment. Jungkook glanced at his watch and then took out his phone, intending to call his wife. "What time will you be home today?" Probably around 7 p.m., because I have a meeting in the afternoon." Yin is an architectural consultant at one of Korea's largest architectural firms, and lately she's been busy handling several major projects. Alright, what's up? Actually, I wanted to invite you for dinner. Okay, in that case, let's go home first, and then we'll leave together. Alright then. The evening had arrived. Yin and Jungkook were now back home, getting ready to go out for dinner together. Yin gazed at her husband as he got ready. She smiled softly, admitting to herself that her husband was indeed very handsome, even since their school days. As a result, many of her former classmates had pursued him, and she couldn't help but feel a twinge of envy when she married the most wanted man. As news of their marriage spread, once they were both ready, they headed out of the house to their car. The car started moving, leaving their house behind. There wasn't much conversation in the car until it arrived in front of a restaurant. They both got out of the car together and walked, with Jungkook holding her hand tightly as they entered a restaurant. They had already ordered their food, and shortly after, the dishes they had ordered began to be served. They started eating calmly, exchanging smiles with each other. After they finished their meal, they sat in silence for a moment. Then, Jungkook began to speak. "Yin, I want to tell you something." "What is it?" "You know, we've often argued, even before this marriage happened. We used to argue a lot since our school days. It was because we competed for achievements. But actually..." Jungkook paused for a moment, and Yin raised her eyebrows, looking curious at her husband, until Jungkook continued his sentence. "I've been interested in you since the beginning when we met in class. But during our school days, you know, we were both busy with achievements and seemed to ignore love. However, I was surprised to find out that our parents knew each other and were friends, and when my parents discussed my marriage and mentioned your name, I immediately agreed without much thought. After we parted ways after graduation and began to be separated because of college, I even thought about where you were. But it turns out luck was on my side. Without me searching, fate brought us together through an arranged marriage." Jungkook now held Yin's hand tightly and looked deeply into her eyes. "So, I'll say it even though it's late. I love you, Yin." Yin widened her eyes. She could feel her heart beating rapidly. This time, Jungkook realized that Yin remained silent, not responding to his confession. "It's okay if you can't answer now. I just want you to know this. That's why I set a rule in the company, that I don't want any woman other than my wife to be allowed on my floor." Yin smiled shyly and chuckled softly, making Jungkook look at her in surprise. Why? Why are you laughing?" "No, I just feel a bit tickled hearing that from you, because you're the arrogant and conceited man in my eyes. Although you're quite sweet, but actually, I'm starting to fall in love with you too." "Really?" "Yes, especially lately. You've been so kind to me, so of course, I've fallen in love with you." Jungkook smiled upon hearing his wife's confession. Now, they both could breathe a sigh of relief. Indeed, love had blossomed in their hearts.